So thank you very much for coming, everybody. Just a couple. So my name's Andrew Lemazurier. I'm head of studentships at STFC. So just a couple of announcements before we get underway. First of all, please note the Twitter hashtag up there and the network password. The other thing I've got to tell you is if there is a fire alarm, we're not expecting a drill, so we will have to evacuate the building. Very important point is towards the end of the day, after the parallel sessions, you'll be able to collect your expenses forms. I'm sure you're keen to know about that. And you can either fill them in and hand them in later today, or else send them in after the event. And you should all have an email explaining how to do that. And the other thing I want to say is that all today's sessions are going to be filmed at the back there, and they'll be put on the RAS website. So if there are sessions that you are unable to attend because they clash with another one you want to go to, then you will at least be able to catch up on that later. Okay, that's enough from me. I'm now going to introduce Paul Hardacre, who's Chief Exec of the IOP, to give some welcoming remarks.
Thanks, Andrew. And it's my pleasure I get the chance to welcome you on behalf of all of the organisers, STFC, the Institute of Physics and the Royal Astronomical Society. So it's good to see you here. And I'll reinforce Andrew's point that it's being live streamed, so don't stage dive, or if you've told your supervisor you were somewhere else, just hang to the back of the room. Do you know, you guys make me feel really old. And part of that reason was just as I was travelling up this morning, we were at a parliamentary event where I often like to go because there I feel quite young. But I was just reflecting back to when I was at your point in stage in my career, which shockingly for me, is about 30 years ago. And the process was so much different for me then. I was a case student with British Telecom Research Labs, and I remember taking up my appointment, doing my PhD, going straight into a postdoc, spending about 18 months in a postdoc, getting my first academic appointment, and that all happened in very quick succession. And the world is so much more different from that today, as you probably know quite well. I know it's probably a little bit early in the morning to do audience participation, but I was going to ask you, how many of you think that you'd like to go on and be an academic and become a professor of physics and astronomy? Okay, I'm just trying to do the maths, because what the stats show is that about 30% of you will go on from PhD studies to do a sort of postdoc study. About 3.5% of you will go on then to get an academic appointment, and about 0.5% of you will go on eventually to become our next professors of physics and astronomy. So it's a very tough challenge these days through that academic route, much more than it was in my day. I guess that's the sort of bad news side for those who wanted to progress through an academic route. But the much more good news is that you are the future of our physics community, and you are through the skills that you will grow and develop through your studies, you will become hugely employable to a whole host of organisations and people. 70% of our graduates coming out of PhD programs go into high-value manufacturing engineering organisations across the world, largely in the UK. Some of the world's greatest leading engineering organisations you will play an important part in, but you also go into a huge range of other careers and activities. So you are hugely employable, and you should remember that when you're having conversations with employers, that actually you hold most of the cards in those discussions. So thank you for coming today and engaging with the programme and thinking about careers so early on in the process, because it is very important to do that. And you'll hear a lot about it in the programme today. STFC, Royal Astronomical Society, and ourselves provide a lot of support through that process to you as you progress through and start to think more about careers. And I'll give a plug, and Vishanti is running some sessions later on today, and we'll say more about it. But we do run a whole host of careers events. We've got about 5 coming up with employers. They tend to be evening events. They spread across the UK, where you get a chance to meet sizable employers across the sector. We're also doing an event for women in physics and careers for women in physics, and some of the challenges that you will face through that process. And to help you with that, we publish a whole host of reports as well. I've grabbed a few here, and Vishanti has some, and she'll hand them out later in the day. But they cover a wide range of topics. There's writing CVs, interview guides, boosting employability, and then navigating through partnerships and funding landscapes. So these will be around today. Please do grab one of those as well. I should probably let us get on to the important bit of the day, but I guess the final thing I just wanted to say is to remember that you're part of our community now, and RAS ourselves are here to help you. So as you progress through that process, keep in touch. Don't be strangers to the organisations. Come and pay us a visit. Come and talk about the things that you're thinking about and what you want to do with your careers if you think we can help. So it's good to see you here. Enjoy the day. And my pleasure now to hand over to Professor John Butterworth, who's going to talk to you next. So John, over to you.